Good evening, and welcome to the final episode of Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present the final episode of Kamen Rider Geats, episode 49, the Final DGP, part 2. Well, everyone, this week has been a very emotional week for yours truly, because there's been a lot of deaths lately. Two of them kind of affected me, the most. The first being the death of Bray Wyatt, which he tragically passed away at the age of 36. And then I just heard that the actress who voiced Harley Quinn from the original Batman the Animated Series has also passed away. So it's been very emotional. And then, we have the final episode of Kamen Rider Geats. And after watching it 3 times, I believe, it left me, lost for words, because even though there were a couple of misses, which I will later state once I get deeper into this video, it was a very good episode. It made me want to say, please don't leave, Geats. You kind of deserve another season, why leave it so bittersweet, just leaving. The cast was very good. The writing, I felt that Yuya has indeed improved from his last 2 projects, from XA to 201. He has improved a lot, but at the same time, there were a lot of hit and misses during this season, which I will later discuss in my heroes video and also my villains video, which it's going to take a while because unfortunately I have a day job, and by doing those videos, I have to remember a year's worth of remembering, but I will try my best. From what I gathered from my revise videos, I got a good response, and I will carry on the tradition of having like a character / overall review opinions of the season itself. So I'm not going to say too much on this video because I will try my best to keep this video short, but this is the final episode, guys, and I figured just go it all out, and it doesn't matter if it's long or short as long as I give you guys the full recap and my thoughts and my opinions of this final episode. So without further ado, I will begin this tale, but I'm gonna do this differently, because this episode we have 2 timelines, present and into the future. And I want to start out with with Tsumuri remembering what she did to Ace. Remember in the last episode we witnessed the death of Ace, and remember in my last video I gave out 3 paths that, what would the final episode be if Yuya would have wrote 1, 2, or 3 paths. And I picked number 3, which made more sense because Ace is a fox, and maybe his powers has gifted him the power of foresight, and saw that he was gonna die at the hands of his quote unquote sister. And so I already explained what path 3 was, so I don't want to recap here, but it would have made a perfect twist. And also, he's a fox, he's a trickster, so again, it makes more sense, but it didn't happen. Apparently, Yuya picked path number 1, which is Ace is officially turned into Jesus. So we have Fruit Jesus, and then we have Fox Jesus. Do I like that path? I personally do not, and it's not because of religion or anything like that. It's just, I just don't like the path that Yuya took Ace towards, but it makes sense too, because the path leading up to his supposed death makes sense, because it felt like Yuya was turning Ace into Jesus no matter what. And it's eerily similar with Jesus and Ace. Jesus, as we all know, he was executed by the Romans, and then he came back stronger than ever. He's a spirit, but he was able to walk on earth, telling his disciples that, please, I'm here, please continue spreading the word, and the word of God, and building my church, that sort of thing. Same way with Ace. The only difference is that Ace never asked Michinaga, Keiwa, or Neon to say, hey, spread the word about me, build me a church, build me a shrine. Nothing like that. But it's eerily similar. So Yuya, picked path number 1. Ace is officially turned into Jesus. And yeah, so after Tsumuri shot Ace, she came to. She realized what she has done, and she drops the gun on the ground. And Suel in the back is like, wow, how does it feel, Tsumuri, to be the one to shoot your quote unquote brother? How does it feel to backstab your supposed friend? And then all of a sudden, evil Tsumuri just comes out and pretty much revealed that, hey, it was me all along. Because apparently evil Tsumuri took possession of good Tsumuri, and that's what led to, what happened. And evil Tsumuri told good Tsumuri that you were so easily manipulated, easily controlled. We're like two halves of the same coin. You wanted this too. Making it sound like, yeah, no, don't be sad. You wanted this to happen. I just gave you a small little push. That's it. And then Suel announced that, Ace will come back. However, the world would have been changed already, and the DGP would have left the planet. So there's no way Ace will be able to defeat the DGP then, because they're already left. So he already declares victory, and he says, okay, now that Ace is gone, now it's time to get rid of the other pest. meaning Michinaga, Keiwa, and Neon Daichi win. All those people who are trying to stop Zurel's plan in the final exit, they will be gone. So that's what happened. And poor Tsumuri, she is crying over Ace's dead body. She can't believe that she has done this to this kid. And then we get into this cutscene where evil Tsumuri has announced to the world, more specifically Tokyo, that the games will continue and that Ace is dead. And everybody from Win and Daichi to Keiwa and Neon were in shock to hear that Ace has been killed. However, they don't know the truth. Yes, he was killed, but not by Suel. It was Tsumuri. And then, after Neon meets with Keiwa, both of them are shocked to hear that Ace is gone. And then all of a sudden you see, before that, all of a sudden Evil Tsumuri continues that, okay, hey, the games will continue, and those who have interfered in these games will be dealt with. And then here comes Zurel in the back and just unleashes his barrage of magnum shooters at Neon and Keiwa. And luckily they transformed in time and they just went after Zurel. And then going back to Tsumuri, just, poor thing, she is crying. And then you hear Ace in the background. So Ace's ghost appears and tells Tsumuri, hey, dry up your tears. They don't look good on you, And she looks up and she sees Ace and she is trying to apologize. I'm sorry, I didn't meant for this to happen. And Ace just like, no sweat it. It's fine. I was mentally prepared for this moment. And then he ends up thanking her for everything she has done up to this point. And then Ace senses that his friends are in danger, so he says, after the thank you, it's time for me to go. And he goes straight into the light. And then Zurel and Keiwa and Neon just magically transported themselves from the streets of Tokyo into some random abandoned warehouse, which it's the same warehouse they use every single season. And then, poor things, Neon and Keiwa are easily getting beat up, and then as they were about to get slaughtered, Michinaga, man, what an entrance. Like, he, like a buffalo, just ran through a wall and just gunned it towards Zurel in his, in his casino form. However, he lost the ability to destroy our riders because you assume that, hey, he's in this form, so they have a chance to kill Zurel, but it's not the case. And then he does the reverse magic. Not only on Michinaga, but also the other two as well. So Zurel trapped them in a time where they didn't get their powers. So they are officially vulnerable. They cannot transform, even in their basic forms. They cannot. They are stripped. And Suel uses his magic to attack them, and he was shocked to see that these three riders cannot just stay down. And he asked, why can't you just stay down? And Michinaga says as much, because it's the reason why they keep going is because of their desires, their wishes that are strengthening them to keep going. And I quote, let me say this, that humans are strengthened by their wishes and desires. That was what becoming a Kamen Rider taught us. That's why our wishes will never die. Right, Ace? All three of them asked, like, right, Ace? Right, Ace? Right, Ace? Is that right? And then all of a sudden, you hear Ace in the background, like, that's right. And everyone just turns around, and then, of course, you thought Michinaga made a grand entrance. You have Ace in his original champion form, as I like to call it, on his motorcycle, and just makes an entrance and just rams into Suel using his motorcycle. And all four of them were like, Ace, you're still alive? Like, it can't be. I heard that you were dead. And Suel was like, yeah, I was there. Tsumuri killed you. And this is where Ace explains himself as to why he is here and not, where he was supposed to be at and be resurrected again. He explains that yes, I am technically dead, but not really. I don't have a physical body anymore. However, I am officially a god. And after that response, I have to say, all three of them, I'm not including Suel on this one, but all three of them just they just stared at each other and just went straight towards the camera and says, Nani? A god? What the hell? Can you explain? That was like one of the best reactions ever, and I was bursting out laughing. Ace, officially a god? That's just like, oh no. He explains to them that he was mentally preparing himself for this very moment. From the moment he made his promise to his mother, he knew that in order to create this new world of ours, our utopia, is that he needed to become a god. That was the reason. And he had to die in order to ascend. And then after that explanation, he continues to attack Suel with his motorcycle. Mind you, we have not seen Ace use his motorcycle since episode 1. And I'm sure you're wondering why. The thing is, there's new rules in regards of using motorcycles. That's why you see less and less scenes with, riders using their bikes. So, yeah, that's the reason why. I think the last time we've seen multiple scenes with riders using their motorcycles, I believe I think it was 01 because I remember Aruto using his motorcycle more than once. And then I think, the new rules happen after that. So that's why. Um, so after Ace has his piece on, Zurel, and mind you, that bad kick was pretty cool. Um, and he asked his friends, "What's your desire?" And Michinaga put it bluntly, like, "Dude, like, it's obvious what we want." And Neon and Kawa were like nodding in agreement, and Ace is like, "Very well." And he does his magic. He gives them back their drivers, their buckles. Only this time they use the beat buckle, the ninja buckle, and of course the zombie buckle. But if you have noticed, after they transform, the three of them, when charging at Zurel, while Ace slowly walks back. Have you noticed that? I did. And you see all three of them fighting against Zurel, and they were doing a great job. And even Zurel was like, "How can this be happening?" And you see them have good teamwork, and ultimately, all three of them use a fire attack on Zurel, which looked like, they're about to win. But then Zurel uses reverse magic to protect himself. Still in shock that these three peasants are, kicking his ass. However, the reverse time magic, it may have protected him, but Ace comes in his final form and just tells him, "No, no, 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 no. I'm a god now, so time does not work on me." And this is where Ace beats him up one last time, and then he uses the Mark 9 victory. Zurel tried to counter it by unleashing his final attack. They both collided. There's a big boom. And then all of us assume that Ace has done it. Zurel is dead. That's it. It's over. However, you see Zurel still at large. His rider form is, he is in his masked form, his hooded form, and it's like, damn, like, you can't get rid of this dude. But then all of a sudden, when he tried to approach, you hear Ace in the background, "You are destroyed." And then you see him dissolved, and his mask is destroyed. And then who is behind that mask? Ace. Now, this is one of those scenes where it led to confusion. I was very confused of what happened. Like, so Zurel was Ace all along? Like, there were a lot of, huh? Like, what happened? Like, is Ace Zurel, and like, what's going on here? And unfortunately, in this episode, no one explained what happened until on social media, supposedly Ace took possession of Zurel and killed him from the inside out. That's why, when the mask got destroyed, you see Ace coming out of it. So Ace took possession of Zurel's body. But that doesn't make any sense, because I got the impression that Zurel was a spirit. So how can another spirit possess a spirit? Like, I didn't understand. And unfortunately, there's no explanation as to what happened. Because when Ace destroyed Suel, he just immediately reforged the world. He changes the world for one last time. And you see, everything changing. You see Win and Naichi and the Jamotos and the game masters all disappearing. The civilian riders are stripped of their rider powers. So everything is being reborn, and Ace, explains, that now. So now that Suel is destroyed, the old DGP disappears. Happiness is no longer rationed nor limited. It's now only limited by the lengths your wishes will carry you. That is the world you will live in, so make sure you find happiness. And all three writers just like, what, without you? Like, what is going on? Like, you're not gonna be with us? And then all of a sudden Ace tells them, like, he asks them to forget about him, and all three of them says no. Why do you want us to forget you? How can we forget about you? We've been through so much. And Michinaga, he's like, enough with the pranks. And Ace, says, I am a fox. He does the too sweet, and he leaves. He sees his friends one last time, tells them that, hey, this is the world that I promised you guys. Take care of it. May you find happiness. Does the fox thing, the too sweet, and he leaves. And yeah, that's it. There was no goodbyes, like, and just a formal goodbye. He just ups and leaves. And then Tsumuri narrates for one last time. So the Tsumuri Chronicles, one last time, and she says, thus the world was reborn, a world without Ace. And then we get back to the shrine. Now, I will go to scene number 1. So after Ace was killed, we get this scene where it looked like time has passed. We don't know how much time has passed, because there's no like 3 months later, 2 years later, nothing like that. All we know is time has passed. And we have Keiwa and Sarah eating together, and Sarah is watching Neon's live stream. So that means Neon is back doing her lives. And speaking of Neon, we immediately go to the next scene, and apparently she has an assistant now. We don't know who it is yet, but he is helping her, do her live stream, and she starts doing her trademark dancing and her song playing. And then we get to see Gene. He is walking up the stairs, and he arrives at a small shrine, and he flips a gold coin, and he meets someone. And mind you, we get a scene of the shrine, and lo and behold, it was the Mark 9 buckle. However, there was something different about it. It got turned into stone. How it got turned into stone, I have no idea. There was no explanation around that either. And then, Tsumuri appears. So that's who Jean was talking to. And he thanks her for keeping the shrine safe. And Tsumuri says, look, the world may have forgotten about Ace, but I still wish to remember him. And then we get a cutscene with Michinaga. He's back at his day job as a construction worker, and there's something different about him. He is happy, and ever since we've known him, he's always been grumpy. He's always been someone who just doesn't want to be around anybody, especially Ace. However, this time he is happy as a happy cow. He is happy. And we go back to Jean and Tsumuri, and Jean says, I will also not forget about Ace. And this is where Tsumuri remembers what happened leading up to what I mentioned earlier, with Suel and the big reveal of evil Tsumuri, which I forgot to mention. When Ace changed the world for that final time, there is this scene where we get to see the Temple of Desire for one last time, and you see Zamma's in panic mode. She can't go back to the future now. For some reason the gate doesn't work anymore, and she is panicking. She's asking why to evil Tsumuri, is like, what's going on here? Why can't I use the gate? And she's all panicky and just asking evil Tsumuri, and then Guillory just tells her, just stop and accept your fate. The people from the future just had enough of us. We're not going back. And now that the world has been remade once again, DGP management will cease to exist. We all gonna go poof. Thanos. But the thing is, are they dead officially, or are they sent back into the future? But either way, they're officially gone. The DGP no longer has a hold over the Earth now. That's why all the Kamen Riders with their buckles and their drivers are gone as well, because that was a part of DGP property. So as they go, also the drivers and the buckles as well, except for their ID course. So sorry, I forgot about that part. So after the flashback, Jean offers, Tsumuri her old job back, because apparently there's going to be a new DGP in town. The only difference is they're not going to abide by the old rules, by the old ways on how Suel used to run the DGP. It's going to be different, and they're not going to use people's happiness to get people's wishes, that sort of thing. It's not going to be like the old days. And Tsumuri before was like, oh, that's nice, and then Jean offered her old job back, and this is where Tsumuri is like, you know what, alright, I will join in, and Jean's just like, alright, I will see you next week or something. So Jean just walks away from the shrine, and you see Tsumuri one last time, because we don't see her again after this. So after Jean leaves, she turns around and looks at this roll of wishes. I don't know exactly what this post is called, but you see all these people with wishes on this piece of wood and tied up and all that. And she just for a moment looks at every one of those wishes and just tells them, you know, the best. Just tells them the best, and I hope you succeed in whatever it is you are desiring, that sort of thing. And you see her walk away. And now we get to see, the characters one last time. Starting with Win. Like, his wish is to be the aspiring punk rocker. And then we see Daichi, where now he's fully good, and he is wishing for humanity and Jimoto to live side by side. And you see Daichi happy, and you see all these Jimoto with their flowers on top and just waving high, being happy, and Daichi is waving back at them too. And I wonder, as evil and crazy as Evil Greenhouse Man was at that time, do you think that he would appreciate what Daichi has done to the Jimoto? I think he would. Like, remember, Evil Greenhouse Man wanted a world where the Jimotos can live in peace and without humanity. He did it the wrong way, but Daichi did it the right way. And I do believe if Evil Greenhouse Man were still alive and just watching how his Jimotos he helped create just living happily and just I don't know, like fulfilling his desire, it'd be like, you know what, I may have went into this the wrong way, but at least this kid is leading the Jimotos into the right direction. And I bet he will thank him for that. If he weren't that crazy and evil. I don't think he was evil, he was just out of his mind. Like, remember, he used his own blood to revive one of his ancient Jimoto, then he got eaten, and you know the rest. We move on to not Daichi. We move on to Michinaga, which he wished for, eating delicious meat. And yeah, that's what he wished for. And you see him back at the construction site. He's on his break. He's eating with his co-workers, and he is happy. He's eating lots of meat, and he mentions that he is a buffalo and everything else. And the co-workers like, "What do you mean you're a buffalo?" And like, "Nah, don't pay attention to me." And he still continues eating and all that. But he's happy now. He's happy. And then we move on to Sarah, which, she still works at an office, and she has wished for a lot. Hence, a lot of wishes on her wooden wish, whatever. And then we move on to Neon. We have discovered who was the assistant. The assistant was Kiru. Now, this is another confusing thing. How did Jean and Kiru return to our world? How did it happen? Did Ace brought him back here? Or did they just return on their own? Again, there was no explanation as to how those two were able to come back. So it's a mystery on that. Unfortunately, we will never know. And I think it may be confirmed that Kiru is officially Neon's boyfriend. Hence, you know, Neon's wish is getting a hold of my Prince Charming. And you see at the end, Neon trying to chase Kiru and try to grab him, but he's trying to run away. So, is Kiru, Neon's boyfriend? I want to know, guys. I think so, but I don't know. And then, last but not least, we have, the world peace himself, Kawa. And obviously, he wrote down he wishes for world peace. And you see him somewhere, maybe at a cafe or something, and he is studying for something. Now, we don't know if Kawa is still working at that ramen place, or maybe he decided to quit, or he got fired. I don't know. Or maybe it's his day off, but he is not working right now. He is studying for something. And after watching the episode the second time, I noticed something. And it looked like he is studying to become a cop. And it was one of his books, how to ace an interview for cops. So Keiwa is trying to become a cop. And it makes perfect sense too, considering how he is pro world peace and all that. And mind you, it would have been so perfect that instead of being a cop, or okay, let me rephrase. Like, yes, be a cop if that's what you want to do, but a cop for the Bluebird, or becoming a cop for Ames. So it would have been so good to have like these references. Like, I want to be a cop, but I don't know for what organization. Would it be for Ames, or would it be for the Bluebird? Because both the Bluebird and Ames are like police organizations. The sheer idea of Keiwa being under the thumb of a Fua. Well, Fua is dead, but of Valkyrie, to be under the leadership of Hiromi. That would have been perfect, in my opinion. But what do you guys think about that? Like, instead of becoming a regular cop, why not have Keiwa become a member of the Bluebird or of Ames? It will be a nice, like, tribute to, 01, especially since, Yuya worked on 01 or the Bluebird. But it would have been so nice. Also, I want to add too that Keiwa still has his ID core, and he just stares at it and just remembers. And it would have been nice to see Michinaga and Neon just stare at their ID core still and just trying to remember Ace. But we get this scene where Keiwa still has his ID core and he is studying to become a cop. So good on him. And then the final two scenes that really hit home, especially with the song playing in the background. You see Ace reading Keiwa's wish and says, they will come true as long as you continue to desire them. He just looks at the wishes, says that line, turns around, and flips his coin one last time. And then the final nail on the coffin, the passing of the torch scene. So after Ace flips his coin, we get to see Ace just walking to whatever he is going to, And then all of a sudden you see Haruto running, chasing after this card, and he mentions Hopper 1? Yeah, Hopper 1. So Hopper 1 is running away from Haruto, and Haruto is chasing after it, and the card turns around, stares at Haruto, and just hits him on the forehead and continues to run away. And as he was running, chasing after the card, you see him and Ace, just walking their opposite ways. Ace is going one way, while at the same time Haruto is moving the other way, signifying the transition of powers, you could say. And then Ace slowly turns around and just sees this new hero and says, may you find happiness. And then turns around and goes on his merry way. And then the final scene ends with the camera going up to the sky, and you see Ace with us. I don't know if it was intended to be Ace with us, or it's Ace is with us, but either way, they're both right. I'm just gonna say Ace is with us because it's grammar and all that stuff. Ace is with us, and that's the end. That's the end of Kamen Rider Geats in a nutshell. Wow. So like I mentioned before about the hits and misses, is the Suel possession. Also I mentioned I forgot, but the Suel confusion. Oh, and also how did Jean and Kiryu manage to return? That kind of left a plot hole for me. But here's the misses. It's just two misses actually. One miss is what I mentioned with Keiwa, trying to become a cop, but for what organization? Ames or the Bluebird? I wish Yuya would have done that. That would have been so awesome. Also would have been more awesome is I wish there were cameos in this episode. I wish they brought back the Men in Black. I wish Yuya would have brought back Monokuma and see him trying to adapt to this new world of happiness. Did he change, or he still remains the same? But I wish Monokuma made a final appearance. I wish Lobo would have shown up to see her thrive in her restaurant, at the same time taking care of her siblings, as you remember. The old man, what happened to him? And then Kamen Rider Mary, like, is he still scamming people, stealing from people? Who else am I missing? From any past writers that were not killed, I wish they would have shown up and have their cameos. And yeah, like, that was like a huge miss in my opinion, those cameos, because even though they were part of the games for a short limited amount of time, they were still a part of the show, a part of the games. So that's why I wish, the Men in Black, Monokuma especially, Lobo especially, to be in this final episode, but it didn't happen. Like, were they short on time, or they just didn't thought about it, or maybe they have, but the actors were busy doing their own thing in other projects. It could be a lot of different reasons, but I wish there were more cameos in this episode since it's the final one. So that's a huge miss in my opinion. Now, in terms of what I think about this episode as a whole, with the hits and misses, I still consider it to be a very good episode. It would have been so perfect, if they would have filled in the plot holes and the cameos, but it is what it is. But I enjoyed it. It was a bittersweet ending. Ace is Fox Jesus, so now we officially have two Jesuses, Fruit Jesus and Fox Jesus, and it's a bittersweet ending. And my question is, why did Ace asking his friends to forget about him? Why? Or was it just another prank? But I don't know. Ace is very unpredictable. He is a prankster because he is a fox. But I just feel like even though Ace has reached the final level of godhood, I can't help but feel like he kind of lost in a way, because he can't, he doesn't have a physical body anymore, but he can manifest, but he doesn't have a physical body. And I mean, he can still talk to his friends if he wanted to, but he decides not to. It's like saying, I think Ace doesn't want to interfere in people's lives now that he's reached godhood. This is what I'm thinking right now. It's the same way with the final episode of Supernatural, where what's his face, after Chuck was defeated, and then I don't know who's the kid's name, but he became the new god, and Dean and Sam were happy that, for the kid, that he is God now, let's celebrate. But then he said, I'm sorry, but I can't celebrate with you. I have to go. However, I'm not going to interfere with humanity's lives. I'm just going to take a step back and you guys do your thing. I will only interfere when the time comes, when I'm needed. I will come back when I'm needed. I feel that Ace is the same way. Like, he doesn't want to interfere with people's lives, but he will come when he is needed to come. So that's why he made the decision to just take a step back and just watch everything unfold. He has indeed taken the lonely path, but at the same time, he has kept his promise to his friends. And that's it. The only thing I want to add before I end this video is, never once Ace ever mentions about his father. There was a lot of mentions about his mom, but he never ever mentions about his father at all, and he never made an attempt to find answers about what happened to him. So it's kind of sad that Yuya never added that father explanation thing, or at least have Ace try to find him, but he can't due to the DGP doing something horribly towards Ace's father. But I'm just saying. Other than that, after watching it 3 times, it still hurts to admit that this is the final time we will ever get to see these people, these characters ever again. The suits ever again. That's it. It's done. It's over. A new writer has gone into the sunset, and the new writer has come to fill in that writer's shoes. And yeah, it's sad to see Geats go because how good it was, but next Sunday, man, Gotcha is here. So yeah. So here at last, at the shores of the sea, comes the end of our fellowship. I will not say, do not weep. Not all tears are an evil. So this is my way of saying, I may be sad to see Geats go, but, it's the way it is, And I want to say thank you, Geats, for entertaining me for a whole year. Thank you to the cast. Thank you for the people behind the scenes. I would like to especially thank the suit actors. They really turn it up a notch. You can definitely tell. So a special thank you to them. A special thanks to Yuya. I felt that he has improved since his last 2 seasons. So hopefully he continues writing for Kamen Rider. And yeah, so thank you, Geats. I'll give you a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. You will be missed. You will be missed. And hopefully I will get your DVD sets and your figures. At least some of them. Thank you so much, Geats, for everything. Now, guys, tell me, have you seen the final episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Tell me everything on the comments below. If I missed anything, please write on the comments below of what I missed. Even though I have my notes in front of me, I may have missed a couple of things. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And one final reminder, I will do a heroes and villains video and my overall opinions and thoughts of the season as a whole. It's gonna take a while because, like I said, I do have a day job, so it's gonna take a while, and these videos are the hardest videos I have to make because I have to recollect all the things that happened within a year's worth of Geats. It's gonna be tough, but I will try my best to do those 2 videos justice, and I hope you like them. Even though my editing is pretty much came out of a kindergartner or something, but I love Kamen Rider. I like to share my opinions and thoughts in Kamen Rider and just get interactive and all that stuff. So anyways, I don't want to ramble for too long. So again, thank you, Geats, for entertaining me for a whole year, and I will see you all on the other side of oblivion. Kamen Rider Gotcha, here I come. Jane. Thank you, Geats. Thank you so much.